Hi, so try envisioning this. You have just recently set your sights on a top university, let's say NUS, Harvard, Oxford, etc., or maybe a reputable job at a well respected company, graphics driver developer at Intel, or NVDA's sophisticated graphics drivers for gamers, stuff like that. But in other words, stuff that you need a lot of prior preparations for, but you didn't do that, while others who are also competing with you did a long time ago. So, how would you feel? If my guess is correct, then those feelings probably are the main contributors to why you don't work on your dreams to that school, that university, or that job as hard as you did before when you didn't know that you were behind others, which is completely valid and natural, by the way. It's not something that should be looked down upon. In fact, you can use this to your advantage. How exactly so, you ask? It's actually super simple, but only if you get the process and reasoning behind it, which I'll be diving into in this video through an experience of my own. So let's get started. So, about 4 to 5 months ago, I realized how much I wanted to go studying abroad in Hong Kong, specifically at HKU or CUHK. But shortly after, dread, doubt, and regret started creeping into every corner of my mind because I had compared myself to other friends in class who were also competing for a seat in the university. In my eyes, they were all well prepared and had good backgrounds, while in the time that they were prepping for the university, I had only been playing games, watching anime, or hanging out with friends online. And so, as a result, the summer that followed, I couldn't work at 100% capacity. Only around 70% to 60% was dedicated to the work itself, while the rest was used for dreading the task or doubting whether I can even do the task at all. But then, around the end of the summer, getting some fresh air and a change of environment helped me think in a new direction. If I didn't start as early as everybody else, why don't I make up for the difference by trying even harder now than they have during their head start time? Afterwards, thanks to that new line of thinking, I learned new things about scheduling work blocks, how to maintain and manage my energy levels better, which I had not been able to do at all during the start of the summer. Ending the whole cycle of low output work could be as simple as just a shift of mindset. Okay, so how do you actually get this shift in thinking? The first step in being able to change your negative feelings into fuel to work better is to identify what's actually causing said feelings in the first place. Then, gradually, start learning how to accept said cause. Because only by acknowledging the problem can you advance and actually fix it. You can't fix something that you don't know exists, right? Okay, on to the last step. Reach a compromise with yourself on the problem. Acceptance by itself will fade if you don't have a foundation for it to thrive on. And speaking from my experience, I found that the simplest form of foundation to be an uncomfortable solution to your problem. Since I was anxious about not having started as early as my peers, I found that a good compromise was to think to myself, I have the advantage from starting later because I can use that as a motivator while they can't. You need to realize that that little discomfort you feel from having to learn new concepts, to learn to balance time, maximize work output, for example, is going to be way, way less painful than whatever regret you will feel in the future, maybe about 10 to 20 years from now, looking back and thinking to yourself, man, if only I had done more